Hello everyone, in this tutorial I will discuss conditional statement. Basically this statement is about control flow, or how you tell the computer what to do if certain condition is true, or basically you want to test a certain condition if it is true or false. If it is true, you're going to tell the computer what to do. So you're just simply telling the computer, if this is true, this is what you will do. If this is false, this condition is false, this is what you will do. Basically, you're telling the computer what to do. So this will be the topic for this video. But before that, please support the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and hit also the notification bell so that you will be notified with all the new videos that I'm going to upload in this channel. And so how do we use this conditional statement? So like I said, conditional statement in Java, using Java, and all other programming language, they do have the same concept, and that is to test a certain condition. There are times wherein we create program that we need to test something, and we need to tell the computer that if this is true, there is a certain condition that if it is true, then you're going to execute this statement or series of statements. And if the condition is false, you have to do the series of statements. So something like that. So it's decision-making statement. No? So it's like this. Now in Java, we have the if statement. I will be talking about another form of conditional statement, and that is the switch statement on another video. So this video will be focused on how the if statement works. So I'll be explaining how it works. The if statement, if you're going to use it, will have a variety of way of using it. So it depends on number of statements you will be executing. So I have here some topics over on the left screen. So for instance, let's talk about this syntax here, this one here. So again, basically you're telling the computer what to do, or you're asking the computer do this if a certain condition is true. So let's say, for instance, I have a variable here, let's say, okay, like this. I want to test it. For instance, if x is greater than or equal, let's say 10, I want you to execute printing system.out.println. Let's say, let's have it hello world. So it's like this. So initially the value of x is 10, so you're basically telling here that if x is greater or equal to 10, execute this. So it's like that. So basically, yes, you just have to remember that after this condition, when this is true, it will execute the next statement. It's like this. So in this example here, this syntax here that you can see here over the left side, the one that I selected here, it means when the condition is true, it will execute statement 1. So statement 1 here is system.out.println hello world. So basically it's like that. Now, if the condition, let's say, is false, so which statement it will execute? It will go to line 20, which is there is nothing there, right? So that means if it is false, it will not do anything because there is nothing here in line 20. But if this is true, it will execute line 19, it will print hello world, and then it will go to line 20. So that's basically how it works, as simple as that, right? So if you have statement here, let's say system I'll just copy this. So I'm just going to say 1. There you go. So basically here, if this is true, it will execute hello world, and then after that it will go to line 20. However, if this is false, this statement here is false, it will go to line 20. It will not execute line 19 because line 19 is for the true part, right? So it's between true part and false part. When the condition is true, you do this part here. So definitely, if this is false, it will not do this line 19. Alright, so it will go to line 20. So once again, if this is true, it will go to 19 and then it will execute 20. So I'm going to run. Let's see if it is going to execute smoothly. So as you can see, because x, which is 10, is equal to 10, so that is true, so it will execute this. After which it will execute line 20, as you can see here. Now if I say here, let's change this to 9. I'm going to run again. You see, because x is 9 and x is not greater than or equal 10, so definitely that is false, so it will execute 20. So it did not execute line 19, which is to print hello world. So as simple as that. That's how it works only. Alright, so there is nothing complicated here. It's as simple as that. Now again here, as you can see here, there is only one statement it will execute. If you have more than 2 or more statements to be executed, if a certain condition is true, then you have to have something like this now. There you go. So this one here. So the rule is that if you have only one statement to execute, if a certain condition is true, or if the condition is true, so it's only like this, 18 and 19. Okay, so you don't need any more this and this, open and curly bracket. But if you place those two there, it will just be fine. Alright, so but the purpose of the curly bracket is to execute more than one statement. So for example, if this is true, then it will execute the next one. Let's say I'm going to say here, I'm just going to copy this. Let's say here. There you go. Alright, so for instance, let's say I'm going to say 10. This one here, so that should be true. So it will execute 19, execute 20, and then it will go out now. It will execute 22. So everything in the block, this is what we call block, true block. Alright, so it's a block of statement if it is true. So it will execute these two statements. You can put here more than one statement. No, not only 2, 3, 4 statements. Any type of statement. You may have, for example, x is equal to x plus 10. So arithmetic expression or mathematical expression you can also put here, right? You can even put another if condition here, if statement here, right? So you can put almost anything here, or you can place almost anything here inside the block. Okay, so when we run it, as you can see, because this is true, so it will execute that hello world there. It will print the word 2, and then it executed this, and then after that it went out, it will print this. If it is false, let us see if it is false. Let's say I'm going to change that to 9. So this is false now, right? So it should execute now. It should execute now this one only. So when you run it, as you can see, it only executed this one. It only printed the word 1. So because this is false, so it will never execute these statements or these block of statements. So instead, it will go to line 23, system.out.println 1. So as you can see, it's only 1 here because this is false. So that's how it works only, right? So if it is true, it will execute all the block of statements for true part. So these are after the condition. All right, so it's always like that. So as you can see here, all right, so it's going to be like that. Now here in line 18, x greater than equal 10. So usually what we place here are relational expressions, all right, wherein the answer is true or false, or the return value is true or false. So usually we put something like that here. And usually we use here relational operators such as greater than, less than, greater than equal, less than equal, equal equal. So something like that. So that's how it works. That's how you use the if statement. All right. Now, another example would be something like, okay, so let's try to move this one here. So another one would be this one here. There is else statement. And so far, again, we have only for the true part. There you go. So after the closing bracket here, that will be the false part if the condition is false. Now we have here the else part. The else part is always the false part. Okay, so when the condition is true, it will execute statement 1 here. If the condition here is false, it will execute statement 2. All right, it will not execute statement 1 if it is false. So an example of that will be something like this again. Go to copy. There you go. So for example, only one statement that we need. So I'm just going to print, let's say, again, hello world. All right, else. I'm just going to print, let's say, 1 there. So what do you mean by that? When this condition is true, it will execute this, after which where it will go in line 22. When this condition is false, it will go to the else, line 20, and then execute line 21, and then execute line 22. That's how it is. So the else is always the false part. Okay, the statement or statements after the condition, that is always the true part. Right? So simple as that. Also, again, here as you can see, only one statement if it is true, only one statement if it is false. What if I have more than one statement if it is true? So you just have to put now the curly bracket like this. This signifies block of statements, right? So it's going to be like that. So let's say, right? You can place any number of statements here. Okay, so it's going to be like that. So you can even, again, you can even put here or place here mathematical expressions, right? So loop statements also can be placed here. Conditional statements can be placed here in line 21. Okay, so you are not limited to what you can do. You can place any type of statements here. All right. So it is also possible that our statements is like this. I mean, our conditional statements is like this. So there is a block of statement if the condition is true, and then if it is false, it will only execute this statement. Or it could be, depending on the problem again, there you go. So if it is false, it will also execute a series of statements. There you go. So let's see if it is going to run. So it's running. So x greater equal 10. So it's no because x is 9. 9 greater equal 10. That's false. This statement is false. So it will go to line 22, 23, 24, 25, and then 26. So as you can see, it printed 1 and 3. Now, if I will say this is 11, so it should be a different path now. No? So 11 is greater than equal 10, so that is true. So it will execute 19, 20, and then it will go now to 26. So again, because the else is the false part and the block of statements, after the condition is always the true part. And so we have this one here. All right, so that's how it is. No? So the rule is very simple. When this is true, it will execute the series of statements after the condition, and the else is always the false part. Okay, and then if you will execute more than one statement, just simply place curly bracket to signify block of statements to be executed if either true or false. No, so it's going to be like that. Now this example is always true or false value. It will do something if it is true, it will do something if it is false. Now there are some instances wherein you have multiple conditions. Okay, so I'm going to place this one right over here. All right, so in that case, you will need now something like this. So you will have else if here condition. So if you have multiple conditions to be tested, then you can use the if else ladder. All right, if else ladder. So for example, let's test it again. I'm just going to copy this. All right, only one statement if it is true. Let's say I'm going to say, oops, sorry. So I'm going to say here, I'm just going to copy this and put it here. All right, so if it is true, I'm going to print 1. All right, else if, all right, so you have another if there. Just going to copy that. Okay, so if it is greater than, so for example here, greater than equal 20, greater than equal 10, if that is true, I'm going to say here, this is print this one here, 2, else I want you to print 3. So basically what is this? There are two conditions here. All right, so again, the else is always the false part. Okay, so for instance here, x is equal to 11, so 11 greater than equal 20. So how it works? So this is false. So 11 greater equal 20, this is false, and so it will go to line 20. It will test again this condition. So basically it's the same with our previous discussion. No? So it will test again. X greater equal 10. 11 greater equal 10. Yes, this time it is yes. So it will execute 21. All right, this is true already. So 21, it will be executed, and then after that it will go to line 24. That's how it works. All right, when a certain condition is met, it will execute the statement there, and then it will jump out. All right, it will get out of your conditions. Okay, so for instance, this is, let's say 5. Okay, 5 greater equal 20, that's false. So it will execute line 20. So in line 20, it will execute this statement. It will test the condition. So 5 greater equal 10, still that is false. So it will go to line 22. So because there is no if here, it's just else, that means it will execute line 23. So it will print 3. And then it will go to 24. Right, so it branches out here in the else. So it never execute 19, it never execute 21. So if we're going to run it, as you can see, it printed 3 there, right? Because it went here. All right, so usually in programming, the last condition, if you have 3 conditions, usually the third condition you don't need to test it. However, if you need to test it, you can still place it there. For example here, I can still test it, the last condition. So if I say x is less than or equal to 10, like that. All right, so it's going to be like this. So again, let me see if I'm going to, if it's going to run. So it is running, so it printed again 3. All right, the word 3. So how that happened again? 5 greater equal 20, that is false, so it will go to line 20. It will never execute 19. And then it will test again here because you have if here. So 5 greater equal 10, that is false again, so it will go to line 22. But because you have if here, so it will test first. 5 less than equal 10, so this time it is true, so it will execute 23, and then it will go to line 24. So basically that's how it is, no? You can place as many as you can, no? So long as it is needed by the problem, you can place else if statement. Okay, so meaning to say multiple conditions. If multiple conditions, you will use if, else if ladder. So something like that. So in this case, we have 3 conditions. 1, 2, 3. So you can have more than 3, just use else if. Okay, so as you can see, when the conditions are true, it will only execute one statement, one statement, one statement. Should you need more statements to execute if conditions are true, so all you need to do is to, again, place curly bracket, something like this. So again, depending on the problem, sometimes you need only to execute one statement for every condition, or sometimes for every condition, you need to execute more than one statement, so you have to place curly bracket. Or sometimes the other conditions, it needs only one statement to be executed, so you don't need any more curly bracket. For instance here, line 24. If I need to execute only one statement, then there's no need for curly bracket here, right? So here, since we have curly bracket, so that means we need to execute 2 or more than one statement. So like this, for instance, something like that. So again, if you need more than 2 statements or more than one statement, I mean, if this condition is true, all right, so you can say something like this. So if I run it, so it should give me 3 and 6. Again, how that happened, because x is equal to 5, and so it will go to the 18, it will test x. 5 greater equal 20, that is false, so it will go to 22. It will test again, 5 greater equal 10, that is false again, so it will go to 26. Because we have if here, so 5 less than equal 10, so it will execute this. It will evaluate it, so that is true now, so it will execute this, this, and this. So that's going to happen now. So this is how the if statement is working. It is important in programming that you know your control structures, so how they work, so that while you are doing the coding, you know already what it will do. All right, so all you need to do is to focus on coding your problem. So something like that. Okay, so I hope this is helpful to you, especially those new in computer programming using the if statement. That's it for this video, and I'll see you on the next one.